When you look at it, you see the Kabbalistic 3 cubes, you know, and when you see 33, that's just a designation for 3 squared, or 3 times 3 equals 9, and 9 is the number of Saturn. So this is not by accident, this stuff. So I'm just going to wrap it up with that. You know, I know that this world's had many calamities, but you know, the story of Noah does not make any sense. First of all, how would he have got around the world to tell everybody? Number 2, when they got off, you know, yes, languages break down, but you know, just because a language breaks down doesn't mean a guy goes from being white to being black, or being, you know, Jewish to becoming Chinese. You know, they've manipulated stories. That's why it's called the King James Authorized Version. Because the real story they can't tell you, see? Because it was all based on keeping you an effing idiot for the rest of your life. Religion means to tie down, restrain, or hold back. It has nothing to do with spirituality. You're spiritual. That book has some great stuff in it, but it's a book of high physics. With the exception of Jesus Christ, that part I believe, because he's the only guy ever to stand up against the establishment. Aside from that, it's a lot of innuendos. It's coded. It's biased. The Old Testament is Semitic. There's 13 races of Semites on the planet. And then you've got the New Testament, which is written by the Vaticans and the Masons. King James, what the book is named after, was openly a Mason. Well, I don't know if you know much about those guys, but they have an agenda. Okay? So let's just leave it at that. Let's just concentrate on the fact that there's a place called Exmouth, E-X-M-O-U-T-H, in Australia, that is a harp establishment that is sending information. In my opinion, it makes sense with everything that's going on. And so just go ahead and look at these pictures, and we'll just leave it at that for today. Thanks. Real quick, I had ended the film, but I wanted to put this in real quick. In the book of Revelations, it says, as it was in the days of Noah, so will it be in the days of the coming of man, which is basically stating, just like it was in the days of Noah, where men were eating and drinking and marrying and carrying on regular business, so will it be in the end times. In other words, just before the calamity happened, everything was exactly the same. Okay? Everything was the same. People were doing business, and bang, something major happened. So it goes on to say, you know, farther on it says, and men will faint from fear of things to come. There's something they're not telling us. It's tied to that planet. I don't know what it is. You know, this thing, let me clarify this. Planet X is planet Saturn. X represents Saturn because it's the oldest symbol in the world for that planet. The X is the seal of Saturn. They just change it a little bit and overlap it. Okay? Nibiru is not a planet. Nibiru is a point on the moon. Okay? Nibiru is a point on the moon. It's a lunar point. Saturn works in conjunction with the moon. You can go look at any Jewish website, and you'll see they'll show Saturn, then they'll show the moon, and then they'll show the Earth. Okay? I remember one that it was absolutely fabulous the way they did it. It started out, you flew through Saturn, you flew through the moon, and you flew right through the Earth. Just like that guy told me how it works. Nibiru is a point on the moon. Saturn is planet X. Planet X is the destroyer. It's already here. That's why things are going so badly. Because there's a timetable that the men that have the ancient playbook basically know when these things are in certain positions, certain things have to happen. That's why I keep telling you this banking scandal is really a scandal because it doesn't exist. They're pulling the money back and saying, oh, there's just all these troubles. There are no fucking problems. It's all based off of a playbook that goes back thousands of years. It's how they control the populations. You know, let me just get back to this real quick. What happened to all of those people? Where did these people go that supposedly perished? You know? It's a scary thought. What's up there on Saturn that's so freaking important? That we have to keep in communication with it, that we have to name all of our products after it, that we have to have it on all of our logos, that it has to be in our songs, that it has to be on our military weapons. I mean, it clearly says in Genesis that the fallen angels are the ones that taught women the art form of divination, how to speak with familiar spirits. And they're the ones that taught man how to make war. So Jesus said, I'm not the ruler of this world, I come from another place. So well, then that just leaves Saturn or Satan. Okay? But the God of the Old Testament is Yahweh, and Yahweh and Yahoo are the same dude. Interesting, remember the video I did? Yahoo on the PC. Always wants a blood sacrifice. Well, what does he want a blood sacrifice for? Why does he need that? I only can come up with one conclusion. Because in Christianity, the soul is it's your spirit. Yeah? And when you die, that spirit exits and it goes on to either hell or heaven. But in a lot of religions, that's not the case. In a lot of religions, your blood is your soul, because it is the life force. Okay? And there's been numerous religions that have to do with the drinking of blood. Okay? Now this even gets weirder, because when you get into Revelations, it says the beheading of the Christians, and it says that the blood will be at the height of a horse's neck. You know? I mean, I don't want to get too weirded out on this, because it's even scary for me to think about. You know, but blood is an energy. It's a force. You know, that's why this whole thing is very, very bizarre. Do they need us for something? Is there something that needs our blood? You know, these FEMA camps with these coffins that'll hold 4 people. You know, what is that? What are those coffins? I mean, why would they actually put you in that to bury you in that? All they got to do is, like they did in World War II, they dig a big ass hole and they throw your body in it. They don't pack you nicely in these things that'll hold 4 bodies to put you in the ground. Sounds more like a shipping crate to me. I don't know. I'm just saying. If you're going to commit mass murder, you're not going to worry about giving last rites. You're just going to kill them, throw them in a big ass hole, and bury them. But if you had to send them somewhere, well, then you have to have a container. I don't know, man. I don't want to weird you out. I'm just thinking out loud, basically. There's something going on here, real big. The story of Moses or Noah and all of those people that disappeared, it doesn't make sense. FEMA is not going to spend money to contain people. You know, if there's going to be this mass calamity, it ain't going to happen. Go watch any Holocaust video and you'll see the tractors pushing the dead bodies into big holes and then burying it. They didn't put them in caskets and then send them home. You know, which brings me to my next point. I know this video is getting long, but let's just think for a minute. The word Holocaust is always assumed to be a big, mass, terrible whatever. But that's not what it really means. The first time it's used in the Bible when, I believe it's in Genesis, where God told Cain and Abel to bring their holocaust unto the Lord. Okay? Cain and Abel had to bring their holocaust unto the Lord. A holocaust, if you go look at the definition, is a burnt sacrifice or offering. So now we know that at least it's an offering, and it's supposed to be a burnt offering. Okay? So it's a sacrifice. You're taking a life and you're giving to that thing. Okay? What really happened in those war camps? I mean, what aren't they telling us? What really went down? I really don't think that the Jews and the Nazis are enemies. I really don't. I think I've read enough of Phoenician history to know that they believe that the earth requires a payment of blood. Okay? The Jews speak ancient Phoenician. There is no Hebrew language. So the earth requires a sacrifice. It requires blood to even things out, because the earth gives, and so paganistically they would give back by bloodshed. That's why you see this bloodshed going on all over the world in the olden days in every religion, including the Hebrew, you know, the Aztecs, the Mayans, the Toltecs, you know, because, you know, the blood is a life force. So what really went on in those war camps? Because it makes me wonder, because, you know, Saturn's color is black, yeah? That's in mythology, his color is black. He's the god of authority. That's why all religious and legal authorities judges, cops, rabbis, priests, SWAT teams, CIA, FBI, they all wear black because it represents the god of authority, which is Saturn. So you got this Nazi bastard, yeah, who represents the planet Saturn, got these poor immigrants locked in here, and what are they doing? They're burning them up. I mean, that's all that we know that they were doing. They could have been doing a lot of other things, and I'm sure they will. And so they're burning them up, but it's the Jews that are calling it a Holocaust. And that word Holocaust didn't become a phrase until, I think, 1956. The war ended in 45. So the Jews are calling it a Holocaust, knowing damn well what the word Holocaust means. The Gentile wouldn't know what that means. The Gentile always associates it with a big, terrible doodah or whatever. But the Jew knows that it means a burnt offering or sacrifice. Okay? Now Hitler made him wear a yellow star armband. Well, what's the yellow star? Saturn is called the black sun, the dark star. But in astrology, not astronomy, astronomy, not astrology, Saturn is called the yellow planet. So here you have a guy who's in the order of the black sun, which is Saturn, taking these people and sacrificing them to the dark star, which is Saturn, wearing a yellow star, which represents Saturn. See, there's something. See, and then the people that scream, "Look at what they did to us," are the ones that call it a Holocaust, but they know what the word Holocaust is, but they don't explain it to the Gentiles. See, because we're goyim. See, they call us goyim. It means cattle, which even that word is scary in itself. You have all these people that disappear, and they tell you it's a flood. Yeah. You got all these people that disappear, and they say it's a flood. But what is it? What we don't know. We don't really know what happens. But they're calling them cattle. Yeah? Well, are they calling us cattle because we're stupid, or are they calling us cattle because we're a food source? You know? I mean, all of this, it's all weird. As it was in the days of Noah, so will it be in the coming of man. What is coming? What is coming? Why are they calling it a Holocaust? Where did these people go? You know? It doesn't make any sense. I'm telling you, there's a big part of this puzzle that they ain't told us, but I can guarantee you that ball, or whatever that is what's behind all of this. This is something that's very ancient and been very, very well hidden. All right, that's it. That's all the talking I'm going to do.